I hate to say it, but this is the last vlog of my series. Join me on my last park days at Walt Disney World. Welcome, your Highnesses. I'm Jack, and you're watching WDWAO. I will be sharing the last couple of days at Walt Disney World. It has been so much fun sharing my vacation with you. And if you have any questions about Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, or my experience in general, put the comments down in below. I didn't do much vlogging or even picture taking on my last couple of days at Walt Disney World. It was mainly staying off my phone and technology and enjoying time with my family. However, this will be a compilation of my park days at Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, EPCOT, and the Magic Kingdom. We had only 4 park days this time around, and I honestly don't think that was long enough for everything I had planned to do. Thankfully, my parents are seasoned park goers, and we were able to hit the new rides, restaurants, and some of our favorites. Our first full park day was at Hollywood Studios. It was a short one as Fantasmic hadn't returned, and we were going to head to EPCOT that evening for dinner. Our first ride of the morning was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I was able to snag a lightning lane for this as I thought it was cute and I knew my parents would really enjoy it. We headed over to Galaxy's Edge for breakfast, as Hollywood Studios really doesn't have a great breakfast scene unless you want to go to a character breakfast. We went to Ronto Roasters. I had the Ronto morning wrap, and it was really, really good. I highly recommend it. And my mom had the Rising Moon overnight oats, and she really enjoyed it. Thanks to my fairly good My Disney Experience and Genie Plus skills, I was able to purchase the individual lightning lanes for Rise of the Resistance. My parents hadn't ridden this since it had opened, and I'd been on it a couple times. This is one of the rides you absolutely have to experience at least once, if not twice. It is just so immersive and fun.
Head down to the escape pod base. Those droids are programmed to return you to Batu. Hurry and don't get caught. Lieutenant Beck will guide you.
Recruits, for your safety, stay seated with seatbelts securely fastened. Keep hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the transport and supervise your children. Tell them it's a prisoner transfer. Did it work? Good. Now get a move on. There's a clear path to the turbo lifts at the end of the hallway. Turn right. A probe droid. You're lucky it didn't spot you. Take those turbo lifts and stay out of trouble.
Hey, you're not authorized. Wait, and those are the prisoners. Generation is within block 3.
Cover is blown. Find an alternate route. Who picked these 2 droids anyway?
Take cover, recruits! If anyone's packing a blaster, now's a good time. Ah! The escape pod's just below us! Wait, why are you going up? I said down, up is bad. Up is real bad.
The Resistance will attempt to rescue the prisoners.
They have neither the resources nor the courage to engage us.
You underestimate their conviction. Raise the shields!
Shields? I see no evidence.
Now!
Sound the alarm! All personnel to their stations!
Sir, the prisoners have escaped.
How brave, but ultimately hopeless. There's nowhere to run.
Resistance personnel, abandon ship. I repeat, abandon ship. This destroyer's about.
Your efforts are wasted. You cannot escape me. Your precious resistance is about to be destroyed.
Okay, you're clear.
Your escape pods came in a little off target. Ground crews will meet you outside the wreck.
Alright, nice job, recruits. Not what you signed on for, but hey, you're resistance now. I think I have that authority. Right, Beck? Where's the lieutenant? I need eyes on Beck. I know, scout for respawn beacon. I really don't understand. Why are they stopping?
I think they're holding out for some kind of compensation.
Are you kidding? Look, you'll be treated well. Thank you.
More escape pods down in Sector 4. Verification pending from Key Command personnel.
Where's the lieutenant? I need eyes on Beck.
We're tracking Beck's pod at the wreckage, sir.
Wreckage? I got a bad feeling about this.
No, sir. He came down at the wreckage site.
That doesn't sound good. He was the backbone of this operation. If anything happened to him,
Scans last show him in Sector 4.
should have waited for him.
Sir, you had no choice. You had to get those data tapes off the ship.
We never leave anyone behind.
So this is Platoon Resistance Command. Rescue teams are approaching all surrounding sectors.
Okay.
Lieutenant Beck here.
Beck! You're alive!
I should hope so.
Great job, recruits! Thanks to your heroism, the location of the Resistance base is secure.
After Rise of Resistance, we headed to Toy Story Mania. I was able to snag a lightning lane for that, so we didn't have to wait too long. It was fun as always, and I ended up with a sore arm because I'm super competitive and I always try to beat my own score from the last time I rode. After Toy Story Mania, we headed over to Muppet Vision. It's a great classic that I think everybody should see when they're at Hollywood Studios. We also hit up the Frozen Hour After show. This is always a fun one, as the storytellers, they absolutely make the show. They are so funny, and I always laugh every time. We also caught the Indiana Jones show. This is so much better since they made it shorter and took out a lot of the audience interaction. At the end of the show, we were getting hot, so we agreed it was time to head over to the Skyliner and get over to EPCOT for our Via Napoli reservation for dinner. Via Napoli is one of our favorite pizza spots in all of Walt Disney World. We love the authentic Italian pizza, and the food is just always great. Oh, we've never had a bad time here. The three of us shared a large house salad, and my dad and I split the sausage pizza. My mom decided to try something new and got the bronzino. It's a Mediterranean sea bass served with lemon oil, sauteed green beans, and cherry tomatoes. It looked really good, and she said she really enjoyed it. After wandering the World Showcase a bit, it was time to end the night with Harmonious. And of course, I was back in my favorite spot over at the Morocco Pavilion, right next to the little snack shop. It's a great place that's kind of out of the way of the crowds, and there's even a bench where you can sit. Hey Disney, I like the Harmonious music, but those barges were an eyesore. Keep the music for the next show and find some other way to do the visuals. It's Animal Kingdom Day! And it's also our Capture the Moment Day. This past year, I turned 40, and I thought a Capture the Moment session would be the perfect way to celebrate my birthday and get some great pictures with my parents. Thankfully, I was able to book this Capture the Moment session before the price increase. So my price was $79. It is now $99 for the 20-minute session with the PhotoPass photographer and a handler. And you are able to select locations at whatever park you choose to have these photo session in. I chose the Animal Kingdom, as I'd done one at Magic Kingdom. While that was fun, I loved the nature look of Animal Kingdom, and I chose to have our pictures taken around the Tree of Life. They have some great paths that are hardly ever used, so it was a really nice time, and we only actually got interrupted maybe one time. And the handler was really great and kind of shooed the person away and then kind of informed them this was the capture a moment session and if they could move on. It was really nice. Like I said before, I did one at the Magic Kingdom and I will link that video up here. So we met our photographer and handler outside of the Island Mercantile at 9:30 in the morning. We chatted a little bit and then we headed over to the Tree of Life for our session. It was really cool because the handler had the little sign that said celebrating 40 years. We got so many shots with our 20 minutes session. I think it was even a little bit longer. I didn't watch the clock, but it felt like a little bit longer. Our photographer and handler were a great team. They work well together. And after we got over being awkward, we got some really great photos. And it turned into a really great photo session once we got the hang of posing. And our photographer made it really comfortable. All of our photos turned out awesome. I got about 30 pictures from our session. And I still highly recommend this, even with the price increase. It is worth your money. My one big tip for the Capture Your Moment session: book as early as you can in the morning. I know it's not going to be fun trying to get to the parks, but Florida is hot. It was even hot at the end of October. And even though we booked at 9:30, it was still a little uncomfortable and very, very humid. So if you want to look your best, book that early morning session. After the Capture Your Moment session, we grabbed a couple of drinks and then headed over to the Kilimanjaro Safari, as that's always a fun ride. After the safari, we went on the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail because I wanted to see the newest little baby gorilla, and she is still sweet as ever. And I got to see her daddy and all the rest of the family, and as always, they're the cutest. We also went on the train ride to the conservation station and did one of the drawing sessions. I highly recommend this. These are always so fun to learn how to draw. And I even got my dad on Expedition Everest. If you know him, he is not a roller coaster person. Way to go, Dad. After seeing the Nemo show and some other things around the park, we decided it was time to go and cool off in the lobby over at Jumbo House at Animal Kingdom Lodge. We had a dining reservation over at Jiko. I highly recommend Jiko to anybody. This is one of, I think, the best restaurants on property. The food, the ambiance, the service, all great. Jiko is one of my favorite fine dining restaurants at Walt Disney World. I still have a couple to try, but so far it is number one, even over California Grill. And of course, I wanted to share Jiko with my parents. We had a wonderful server who was very attentive and always kept our drinks filled and made sure we were doing all right. My mom and I had the sorghum chicken, which was super delicious and flavorful. And my dad ordered the oak grilled filet mignon. I had gotten the oak grilled filet mignon on my last trip, and the chicken was just as good or even better and more flavorful than the filet was on my last trip. For dessert, I got the Kilimanjaro. It is single origin Ghanaian dark chocolate mousse, pistachio financier, pink peppercorn meringue, cocoa nib crunch, and Ras El Hanout pineapples. It was so good. It was light, a little bit sweet, thankfully not overly sweet, beautiful presentation, and everything just worked so well together. It was very yummy. It was not an overly large dessert. It was the absolute right amount for the end to a very delicious meal. I highly recommend Jiko to everybody. They have something for everyone, from the most basic palate all the way up to the most adventurous palate. Everyone can find something truly delicious here. It's EPCOT Day! Since we only had 4 days to hit all 4 parks at Walt Disney World, we didn't have any downtime, and today was no different. I am so thankful that we booked at Caribbean Beach Resort because it shortened our transportation time. We were able to quickly grab the Skyliner over to Epcot's International Gateway and walk over to our 8:30 breakfast reservation at Ale and Compass. Here at Ale and Compass, you can choose just an entree for breakfast, or you can choose the buffet, which includes the breakfast buffet and an entree. I thought this was a great value at $23 because most of the entrees were already between $15 and $18 themselves. I chose the breakfast buffet because it looked really yummy. They had fresh cut fruit, flavored yogurts, small muffins, little pastries, warm cinnamon rolls, and cheddar biscuits and gravy. I chose the crab cakes Benedict, which is poached egg, jumbo lump crab cakes, and arugula with a lemon herb hollandaise sauce. While they were okay, I didn't particularly like the lemon herb sauce. It just gave it a weird kind of flavor to me. I much prefer the lobster eggs Benedict over at Grand Floridian Cafe. I was able to snag us group 45 for the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride. So we headed over to the Land Pavilion to ride Living with the Land and Soarin'. After those rides, it was about time to head over to the Guardians rides, so we wandered our way over to that side of, I guess it's called World Celebration, but I still always call it Future World. So we got into the queue. It was really interesting to see how they had totally changed the universe of energy into Guardians of the Galaxy. I was hoping and crossing my fingers that we got the song September for our ride. It has a special meaning from back in college and brings back some really good memories. And of course, with Disney Magic, I got the song September. So I was there in the last car singing and giggling and screaming and having just an absolute blast. Unfortunately, Mom got a little bit of motion sickness from Guardians, and so I thought maybe riding on the gentle sitting 20-minute ride of Spaceship Earth would help. It did not. So we pulled over and got a drink and got some meds and had a little bit of recovery time. With some luck and a little bit of planning, I was able to meet my fellow admin and an occasional presenter here on our YouTube channel, Natalie. She was with her family at EPCOT that day too, so we were able to meet in the creation stop. I always love meeting one of my fellow team members and our group members from our Facebook group. And it was time for our Space 220 reservation. I was lucky enough to be able to snag a lounge reservation about a week before we left. I was almost giving up hope when I saw it pop up. On the way over to Space 220, we got to see the Jamminators. If you haven't seen them, this is a group that makes music with everyday things. I love running into entertainment like this. It makes the day seem just a little bit more spontaneous and magical. I had eaten at the Space 220 Lounge previously, but this was one of my dad's special requests, so I was more than happy to oblige him. For a more in-depth review, you can check out my earlier vlog about Space 220 or Carol's video about Space 220. I'll try and link them up here, and if not, they will be down in the description below. Was I impressed with Space 220 on my second visit? Not really. But my parents got to experience it and enjoy it, and that's all that matters. Honestly, that in and of itself was worth it going back to Space 220 again. For those that haven't been before, you check in for your reservation outside and then are escorted into the lobby inside where you're given a color card which tells them where you're going to be seated. After a little wait, we were taken up on the Stellevator up to the restaurant itself and passed by what I like to call the Living with the Land lettuce, but in space. Honestly, I don't even remember if our server was good or not. That's how memorable this service was. As we had a dinner reservation at Le Cellier later that evening, we decided to keep it light and stick to the apps menu. I got the Blue Moon cauliflower, which was tempura fried cauliflower, house-made hot sauce, and blue cheese dust. It was delicious, and I wish I could have ordered 2 instead of the salad I got. Unfortunately, the salad I got, I think it came with like tuna, edamame, a little bit of fresh fruit, green beans. I think it was almost like a Nicolay salad. it wasn't good. I'm pretty sure they may have even forgotten the dressing. And I'm kind of jealous of my dad, who ordered these short rib sliders. They look delicious and came with a side of fries. Would I go back to Space 220? Probably not. But if you do want to try out Space 220, get the lounge reservation. You're able to choose apps or an entree off the prefix menu. If you get a Space 220 restaurant reservation, you are then forced into a prefix menu, which is an app, an entree, and a dessert. And that's like $55. And honestly, none of their food is worth that much. But I definitely, if you've not gone and want to experience it, go to the lounge. They have good apps and good drinks. After lunch, we headed out to explore the World Showcase. Of course, we had to hit up the 3 Caballeros, and we even got to catch a performance of Mariachi Cobre. Fun fact, they've actually been performing at EPCOT since opening day in 1982. We headed over to China, and my dad chose to watch Reflections of China. They use circle vision in Reflections of China, which gives me motion sickness. So my mom, not wanting to exacerbate hers, and I went and perused the gift shops while we waited for my dad. We then headed over to Germany to peruse the gift shops and just relax in the square over there. It's so cute. Every time we go to Disney and to Epcot, my dad always loves to buy my mom a stuffed toy. Unfortunately, this time, and thanks to COVID, the toy shop where they usually sell them was closed. And we were in luck because one of the festival booths were selling these stuffed toys. So my dad and I scurried around and we were able to pick out the cutest little hedgehog for my mom. Of course we had it bagged, because also the fun thing is to have her guess what animal or character is in the bag. I know it's a silly family tradition, but I absolutely love it. We headed over to Japan to the Kabuki Cafe and got shave ice. I got the blood orange slushie. It was fabulous and it really hit the spot. And then we wandered around the Mitsukoshi shops. So our first visit was back in 1994. And my mom and I had taken a picture sitting on the fountain in Morocco. It was so cool to be able to recreate that photo so many years later with her. Check it out, she is still a babe. While I typically don't recommend scheduling 2 table service restaurants in one day, I did schedule Le Cellier for 7 p.m. that night. This is such a solid restaurant and I knew everybody would be able to get something they really liked here. We had great service, a great server. She was really attentive, really nice. I also love their bread basket and that butter with the maple salt. Bread went really great with the cheddar cheese soup my mom and I split as an appetizer. My mom and I ordered the bison strip line, which comes with squash, roasted cauliflower, Jerusalem artichoke, and a black garlic béarnaise sauce. They changed a lot of the dish from when I had it previously, and it was kind of a letdown. The previous dish was flavorful and the flavors just balanced right. My dad enjoyed his ribeye steak, which came with Gruyere, Yukon Gold potatoes, onion cognac gravy, and crispy onions. And for dessert, my mom and I split the warm pecan brown butter tart. This is one of my absolute favorite desserts in all of Walt Disney World. If you're a pecan pie lover, this one is for you. Think of warm pecan pie served with ice cream and topped with caramel. If you want a solid win for a table service restaurant, book Le Cellier. It will fit the bill for all different appetites and even those who are traveling with picky eaters. Since we had already seen Harmonious, we decided to head back to the resort. Remember that really cool Spaceship Earth looking like backpack I showed you in my packing video? Well, of course, we had to go get pictures with it and Spaceship Earth in the background. Thankfully, we still had a little bit of time to get over to the Skyliner before Harmonious started, which was awesome because we timed it almost perfectly and were able to see the fireworks from Harmonious as we traveled back on the Skyliner to our resort. And being the nerd I am, I actually synchronized the Spotify playlist that has Harmonious on it to the fireworks show itself. Seeing the fireworks on the way back was a perfect ending to a great day. It's our final full day and we are headed to the Magic Kingdom today. As it was actually Halloween on our EPCOT day, I was able to see both the fall decorations at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and then today be able to see the turnaround to the holiday decorations. Unfortunately, they did not put the tree up. That actually came several days later after we had left. But they did have all the garland and the wreaths up, and it was just a great holiday feel. We also tried to catch the scheduled SpaceX launch that was happening that morning. With Florida weather, it was cloudy and we didn't get to see it. If there's ever a launch from Kennedy Space Center on your Magic Kingdom day, you want to look towards Tomorrowland, because Tomorrowland is actually east. And Kennedy Space Center is a little bit northeast of Walt Disney World. After the time that we would have probably been able to see the launch from Kennedy Space Center had passed, thanks to the cloudy weather, we headed over to Tomorrowland to conquer almost all the rides. We decided not to do Space Mountain as none of us wanted a free spinal alignment. And then we headed over to Fantasyland and hit some of the lightning lanes that I was able to get, like Dumbo and the Little Mermaid ride. We also hit up the Hall of Presidents and the Country Bear Jamboree before our 2 p.m. Liberty Tree reservation. I had scheduled our reservation for 2 p.m. because that would leave us enough room for the Enchantment dessert party that I had booked later that evening. I had booked the Enchantment dessert party as an anniversary gift for my parents. If you like Thanksgiving Boon, then you will like Liberty Tree Tavern. It is served family style and all you care to eat. You start with a really yummy salad. We chose the Patriots platter, which comes with roasted turkey, pot roast, oven roasted pork, mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, stuffing, and macaroni and cheese. And for dessert, we got the famous ooey gooey toffee cake, which can best be described as a warm, chewy, soft, cakey chocolate chip cookie that's covered with ice cream and topped with chocolate sauce. We rolled out of there very full and very satisfied, and just our luck, we were able to secure a spot on the raised sidewalk right outside of Pecos Bill Cafe for the Festival of Fantasy Parade. After the crowds had cleared a bit, we conquered several more rides and then hit up all the gift shops up and down Main Street. We had unknowingly timed it just right and were able to witness the flag retreat ceremony. This special ceremony is performed daily at 5 p.m. outside the town hall and firehouse in that center area right by the train station. And it is dedicated to veterans to thank them for their service. Each ceremony honors a veteran who is chosen to participate in the flag retreat, and they receive a certificate and a commemorative pin. This again was perfect timing, as it gave us time to then stroll back up Main Street and check in for our dessert party. I had done the post party the last time. While it was good, it was a little bit chaotic getting back to where they actually had the party and the food and the drink. So I chose the pre-party this time, which was a little bit more relaxing. We were able to check in, be seated, and then go enjoy things like fresh fruits, cookies, cupcakes, little mini special 50th anniversary desserts. They also had beer, some select wines, some sparkling wines, sparkling cider, and some non-alcoholic drinks such as juice, milk, water, and hot tea, iced tea, and coffee. Once we had our fill of desserts, we were then escorted over to the reserved hub area. I think we waited maybe a half hour before Enchantment started, but it was so nice to wait in the hub and not be crowded by people and just relax and enjoy the atmosphere of Magic Kingdom. After Enchantment, and thankfully in the reserved area, we were able to wait out the crowds as they dispersed. It was really great to be able to reminisce about our whole trip and all the fun things we had gotten to do and experience. It was just a great end to the day. Since we had an early morning wake up to get to our flights over at MCO, we decided to leave Magic Kingdom early. Honestly, the fireworks, the dessert party, being able to reminisce, it was a great end to the great vacation. Thank you so much for joining me on my adventures on the Disney Wish and over at Walt Disney World. I will be doing one more wrap-up vlog that should be coming out next Monday, so join me, and I'm hoping I have my voice back by then. Thanks again for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Remember to click subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications when our next video drops. If you're not a member of our Adults Only Facebook group, the link is in the description below. Please join us there today. We talk about all things Walt Disney World, sometimes Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, and other Disney parks. And we like to answer all of your Disney related questions and travel questions. And remember, never grow up.